Hello and welcome to another video tutorial Monday. This week I wanted to make a cute little card for my friend Latrice who just had a baby, and it's a boy, so I wanted to celebrate that by using this set from Fawn called Plus One and using this mobile and then the congrats it's a boy. So I thought about how I wanted to do this, and I think what I'm going to end up doing is using this front image panel. So this is 3 1/4 by 5.5 inches long, and then it'll go on the front of my card, and I'll have room for a border either over on this side or this side. I'm not sure which one yet, but this is kind of where I'm going with this. So I kind of want to make it clean and simple, but still have lots of little cute touches. So I'm going to start out by stamping my mobile in some Spice Tin ink from Jenny Bolin, and I'm just going to center it in the middle of this cardstock a little bit more towards the top. That way it has some extra breathing room at the bottom here. Now I can go ahead and color in my stamped image. I picked out these 4 colors for my card just because I think that they're good boy, and this, I mean, if you switched out the blue or even if you kept the blue in, this would be great for any really baby card. These colors all work really well together. So I have B21, YG25, Y21, and Y38. And I'm just going to color in each piece here a different one of these colors. Okay, so I have my image colored in. Super quick and easy coloring there, but it'll add a lot to the card, and you'll see that as we go on. Before I add it to my card base, I want to do a couple things to it. First of all being, I want to ink it up with some pumice stone distress ink. This will just make it look a little bit more like it's really supposed to be on that craft cardstock base. I'm just starting off the edge of my project and working onto it in a circular motion. I'm going to kind of line this up, see where I want to put it, and my plan is to use my So Easy tool from We Are Memory Keepers. I have the scalloped head to go with it, and all you do to put it in the tool itself is make it fit in by starting out with it vertical like this, and then just snap it into place. And it just takes a very light touch. There you go. And to use this on my card, I want to make sure I have a really spongy surface underneath, so I'm using the back of my mouse pad. And I think I want the scallops to go this way over here. Right about here, only this one needs to be turned. So it will go right about here. And then I will just pull out my ruler, and my ruler will serve as my guide so that I don't get off track. And then when you're ready, I'm just going to start a little bit off the top here, and this way, I mean, there'll be a couple extra dots, but I'll make sure that I get them all pierced correctly. And then I will just go ahead and run this along my paper. And you can see here that it left dots for me to go ahead and sew through. So I'm just going to go back with my regular paper piece, with my regular paper piercer, and make sure that these holes are punched all the way through. Since this is really thick cardstock, I'm using my paper tray ink cardstock. I don't really expect it to go all the way through, but this creates a really great guide, and this way I didn't have to draw out the scallops and things like that. So for the couple dollars that the tool is, it's definitely worth it to me. And now that I have my scallop border down, I can just go ahead and start sewing. And I think I'm going to go in and out all the way down and then all the way back up. And that will create a really solid line. And to measure my thread for this, I'm going to keep in mind that these are scallops, so make it about the length of the card, and then do that 3 times. and that'll just give me a good idea of how much thread I need. I can trim off my thread, and you can always go back and add more later. I just don't like to deal with tying a knot and things like that, so I try to make it right the first time. And I'm going to separate the thread. I just took 2 threads this way and 4 threads in my left hand, and I'm separating it out now, and I'm going to use the 4 threads to sew with. And this will just keep it from being too thick of a line, but it'll still definitely have a really good presence. You could also sew with any amount of threads. You could sew with the 2 even if you wanted a more delicate look, but I really like the look of 4 strands together. And I'll start from the back of my project working towards the front, and then go in and out all the way down and then all the way back up. And to hold it for now until I get back up just to tie a simple knot, I'm just going to use some washi tape and tape down the end. And that'll keep it out of my way for the time being. So I'll be right back with this all sewed up. So as you can see here, I went through and stitched all of this up. I just made a little tiny knot and then cut off the excess thread here. I'm going to go ahead and round the corners with the 1/4 inch setting of my corner chomper, just for a little bit to mimic the roundness of the scallops. And next I'm going to go ahead and adhere down this piece to the card front. And now it's time to add my sentiment on. So what I want to do is stamp the congrats and the it's a boy on separate lines. So I've already put them on my blocks here. And I'm going to test the it's a boy before I actually stamp it on my good cardstock. Just because you never really know by lining it up just on the block if it looks exactly how it's supposed to look. So I think the boy can actually come in a little bit closer. So I'm going to move the it's a over. That way I don't have to mess around with the exclamation point. And I think the exclamation point can actually go up a little higher as well. Okay, that looks really good to me. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp this. I'm going to do them both coming from this side of the card over here, and then I'm going to cut a little banner tail on the end. So I'm just going to keep in mind that I'll be trimming off some of this right hand side here and stamp it in a little bit. And just get right over it, line it up, and then stamp down. Now I can go in with my square punch. This one's just from Fiskars, but any square punch would do. And get in here, line it up so that it looks fairly centered, and then when it looks centered and even, punch. And then I'm going to punch a little bit closer on this one so it kind of reads like this. And to finish off the edges of this, I'm just going to go back with my pumice stone distress ink again along the edges here. And now I can adhere it down with some dimensional adhesive. Today I'm going to use this sticky thumb adhesive squares. You can buy these at Simon Says Stamp. And I like these because I'm just trying these out, but I really like them because they come in 6 different sizes. So instead of your standard 1/2 inch and 1/4 inch squares, you actually get 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch, and then ones that are slightly smaller, and then rectangle ones. So I'm actually really excited about these. I'm also going to go back and ink the edges of my entire card base with the pumice stone distress ink. Now for my last finishing touch, I'm just going to color in these pearls, 3 of them, with this orange color that I used on the card already. And this will bring in the stitching and then the top of the mobile in kind of a cool triangle formation. So I'm just going to pick these up. They dry pretty quickly. And that just adds some nice balance to the card. If you want them a little bit darker after you get them down on the card, you can always go back and add some more color on top too. And then it won't rub off on your fingers because you're done touching it. So here's the finished card for this week. I really enjoyed using this cute card, and I'm sure my friend Latrice will love it. And Lawn Fawn stamps make it so easy to make such a cute little card. And Lawn Fawn stamps really work with you so that you can add your own embellishments and really make it something that looks like your own, which I love that. So, thank you very much for watching. Here's a picture of the finished card. And here's a close-up. I hope you enjoyed this week's video tutorial, and I will catch you again next week on another video tutorial Monday.